Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everyone. I'm working Dr. Mohammed Hussain. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and to introduce our worthy Dr. Professor Mohammed Hussain, the esteemed supervisor under whom we have the privilege of working. And Professor Dr. Mohammed Hussain is a distinguished supervisor, and he is working at University of Sialkot, and he has a long experience, more than 25 years, and his experience is not relevant to our academia, even it is relevant to the society. He has inspired a lot of people. He has inspired a very big generation in Sialkot and even abroad. He has served in Korea. He has also served in Saudi Arabia. And one thing that impressed a lot, that is his research area. He has more than 150 research publications, and these publications are not fixed only, are published. All these publications are not from Pakistan, are national journals. These are from international journals also. His mentorship has been invaluable to all of us, even in this room, guiding our research with his unparalleled expertise in fostering a rigorous academic achievement. We are deeply grateful for his continuous support and encouragement. And there are other things also I should mention that he has earned a lot of reputation. And for that particular reputation, I must say he is living legend in academia. And he inspired countless students here in Pakistan and all over the world. Please, a huge round of applause for worthy Professor Dr. Mohammed Hussain, whose leadership and dedication have been instrumental in shaping the academic careers of many scholars, including us here today. Thank you, sir, for being here with us today. Now, let me introduce today's panel discussion on an exciting and increasingly relevant topic in the field of English studies: mixed methods research in English studies. This approach, which combines both qualitative and quantitative research methods, offers a comprehensive way to explore complex phenomena, making it an essential tool for researchers in our field, which is English studies. As the boundaries between data-driven analysis and interpretive, narrative-driven inquiry continue to evolve. Mixed method research allows researchers to bridge the gap, providing a richer, more nuanced understanding of the subjects to explore. Today we will dive into how these methods apply specifically with English studies, touching on topics like discourse analysis, language teaching, English language teaching, critical discourse analysis, genre studies, and computational linguistics, and many more. We'll discuss the benefits, we'll discuss the challenges, and philosophical underpinnings. And these philosophical underpinnings, these philosophical assumptions are very important while we are in a position to conduct any kind of research. And we will try to explore how it is changing the way we conduct research and interpret findings. Findings and the results of each and every research are very, very important. If we do not put findings after conducting a research, it would be considered an ethical flaw or unethical thing in research. So whenever we are supposed to conduct a study, we should put findings in front of the public, in front of the researchers, in front of all those people who can be the beneficiaries of that research. This is very, very important. I am thrilled to be joined by two esteemed panelists here who are actively engaged in this area of research, which is mixed methods research. Their academic backgrounds, research interests, and teaching experiences bring invaluable perspectives to today's discussion. Our first panelist is Ms. Afia Niaz. She is a PhD scholar in English linguistics at the University of Sialkot. Ms. Niaz is deeply engaged in the field of applied linguistics, with a particular focus on learner language and error analysis. An area of interest in applied linguistics is error analysis. Her MPhil research completed at Gifted University of Tehran examined common errors made by second language learners and explored how these errors could be used as valuable tools for enhancing language teaching and learning. Her work was supervised by esteemed Dr. Umar Yaqub. Ms. Niaz is also published research with two academic publications in her name, demonstrating her commitment to contributing to scholarly knowledge. In addition to her research work, she brings significant teaching experience to the table. Having taught students through home tuitions for several years, she is now further refining her teaching skills at Apex College, Gujarat. This strong combination of research and teaching makes Ms. Afia Niaz a valuable voice in today's discussion. Please put your hand together. She has joined this as a panelist number one. Our second panelist today's discussion is Ms. Aisha Tahir. She is also a PhD scholar at the University of Sialkot and here in this department of English. Currently in her PhD semester 1, Ms. Tahir's academic journey is shaped by her strong interest in discourse analysis and genre studies, and even critical discourse analysis. Her MPhil research was particularly intriguing, focusing on inspirational genre in films. This is also very interesting, the part of this Aisha Tahir. She conducted a multi-modal discourse analysis of the films, those are very, very famous one, Three Idiots and Tare Zameen Par, highlighting the powerful role of teachers in recognizing students' strengths and motivating them to look beyond rote memorization. She is not in favor of rote memorization. Her emphasis was supervised by Mr. Mudassir Hussain. Ms. Tahir also has substantial teaching experience and is currently serving as English lecturer at Aspire College, Sialkot, where she is involved in both classroom teaching and academic guidance. Her solid academic background, paired with hands-on teaching practice, provides her with valuable insights into the effectiveness of mixed methods in language studies and teaching practice. Please join, put your hand together again for Ms. Aisha Tari. She is the second panelist of this discussion. Now that we have had the chance to get to know our distinguished panelists, let's dive right into the discussion. Today we'll be exploring various aspects of mixed methods, research in English, from its applications in language teaching, its integration with discourse, analysis, and more. And our today's agenda is all about to talk about the mixed method research, and we will try to explore three core areas: why, what, why, and how. What are the things that are important in mixed method research? Why those are important, and how we can conduct mixed methods research? And let's start with our first question to the panelists. And if we want to explore the very first thing in mixed methods research, that is all about what. So, Ms. Apia, what do you think? What does it mean by mixed methods research, according to you, and how you personally apply this approach in your work with English studies?
Okay. First of all, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. I would like to thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving me this chance to, share my academic background with you. So, if I talk about the mixed method research, mixed method research basically means in which we use the both types of data, means qualitative or quantitative in one research study. Or in simple words, we can say that we use the numbers or words together. And this whole approach basically helps the researchers, to understand the research problem in a very clear or deeper way. So I think instead of depending only one method, we use the mixed method. Instead of depending only one method, a mixed method gives a complete picture of an issue. So this was about the mixed method in my point of view.
Fine. What is your viewpoint
So,
regarding this?
Assalamualaikum everyone.
Thank you, sir, for giving me such a this chance to explore our research topic. And I would like to add on mixed method research basically in English to it allows us to use both numbers and meanings to create a research more clear, more conceptual and academically logical. Together, the numbers and the meaning create understanding more clear and complex ideas become more easy. Yes.
Thank you for your opinion regarding mixed method research. Usually it is said that traditional methods in research, these are basically focusing on sometimes on long interpretations, and the researchers want to take certain things in detail, and they want to interpret each and everything in the research. And if we talk about mixed methods, it is obviously mixing a combination of two approaches. One is qualitative one, and the other one is quantitative one. So traditional qualitative research in English studies focuses on deep interpretation of text and cultural artifacts and lived experiences. While quantitative research emphasizes myriad patterns, we most of the time try to take certain linguistic patterns, certain trends and frequencies, and mixed methods bridges this gap by combining both approaches. allow researchers to explore both the narrative and the numerical aspects of language and literature. This helps understand how both data types work together to offer a fuller understanding of research question. So, what do you think? How is mixed methods different from purely qualitative or quantitative research? For example, if we are putting numerical data, this would be a research that is quantitative, and the other one, if we are focusing on words and interpretations, it would be a quantitative one. So, how do you think that it is different from purely qualitative or quantitative data?
Okay, you already explained the difference, right? In my point of view, mixed method is totally different from qualitative and quantitative research, because purely qualitative research is mainly focuses on the words, personal experiences or observations, opinions. But on the other hand, quantitative research focuses on the numbers, statistics, and measurement part. But mixed method is totally different because it combines the both types of data, like qualitative and quantitative. So that's why it's totally different. In mixed method, we use the both numbers, words, statistics, measurements, experiences, all of these things. So this approach, becomes helps to overcome the weaknesses of using only one method. So that's why it's totally different from both approaches.
So, Ms. Aisha, what do you think? How this is purely mixed methods research is purely different from these two?
Yes, I think the qualitative research is focuses on meanings, experiences, and personal observation, and while the quantitative research is focus on numbers, variables, and patterns on. And what when we divide in the mixed matter research, we check the numbers with the meanings. We also check the patterns with the observation. For example, in school, we check the test scores of the students. We check the exams. We check their attendance. Meanwhile, also we check the students' behavior in the classroom. Both these methods clarify the students' complete observation regarding the studies, where they lack, if they are lacking the exams, they lose numbers. Meanwhile, we check why he lose the numbers. Here is some health issues. Through behavior, we check the students' confidence issues. Regarding checking the class, we check the teachers' lacking issues. So, when we use qualitative or quantitative research together, we conduct a strong research. Meanwhile, so this is why mixed method is purely different from the qualitative and quantitative research.
You have mentioned that meanings are very important
Yes.
while we are conducting research. How do you link this perspective, meanings, in research?
Because yeah, when we check the, for example, paper of a student, we check there is a spelling issue, there is a grammatical errors. Here, being a teacher, there is a question arise in my mind: why there is some errors? Some maybe students need some special attention, where because there is 50 students in the classroom, they all are not same. Some are intelligent, some are very low, and some need more attention. So here is a point to meanings. Why, how, what is the reason? So meanings are very important to conduct any research, any area regarding the numbers.
Thank you, Mrs. Aisha. The next question is relevant to why perspective in mixed methods research. And it is a direct question. Why is mixed methods particularly suitable for English studies?
Mixed method is suitable for English studies
Yeah.
because, as you all know, that English studies deals with other language the literature, and also with the communication. So, and these areas includes the mere language patterns and personal meanings. And by using this mixed method, that such a can easily study about the language multiple language patterns through numbers, and also understand the deeper meanings through interpretation. And this whole process helps the researcher to understand the such problem, or and this makes the mixed method very suitable for English studies.
So,
Uh,
Ms. Aisha, I'll try to switch certain things related to English studies. But what do you think? What are the core areas of English studies that can be covered under this umbrella term of research, that is mixed methods research?
Using a mixed method research in the especially in the English study, we clear the area of stylistic, discourse analysis, and corpus linguistics as well. In my perspective, mixed method is suitable because it allows us to study variables, aspects of language, also explore the culture, identity, and meaning as well. So there is a very huge areas in English studies to cover mixed method research, such as stylistic discourse analysis. For example, in discourse analysis, you can count how often certain politeness strategies appears in email writing. That is called quantitative research, and also explain the social meaning of these strategies. That is called qualitative research. So, this in English studies, mixed method has a very vast.
Recently, there is another question relevant to this particular aspect. How does it enhance our understanding related to language, particularly language, literatures, and communication? What do you think, how it can enhance our understanding? This particular method can enhance our understanding, particularly in language, the phenomenon that is language, and then literature. Obviously, we can conduct different researches in literature also, because it is a combination of qualitative and quantitative. Literature can be a part of this research. So, what do you think? How it enhances our understanding, particularly in three areas: language, literature, and communication?
So I think my answer was same. Like I already explained that English studies deal with language, literature, and English studies, and these areas involve mere patterns, language patterns, and human personal experiences. So this approach is very important in English studies because with the use of digital tools, AI-based studies, and discourse analysis. In this, we explore all the things like we study about the words, meanings, students' experiences, observations, and measurements. So I think in my point of view, this is all.
Thank you. Now, the next question is about the phenomena of again mixed methods approach. But the thing that is very very important here, sometimes we take research method, particularly mixed method research, as an optional one, and sometimes it becomes necessary. So, what do you think that when it becomes necessary? This is not an optional phenomenon in research. So, what is your perspective? What is your opinion regarding this? When this research becomes necessary, we cannot avoid, we cannot negate this combination, which is quantitative and qualitative. We need to cover, we need to focus on these both perspectives.
Okay. Basically, mixed method research, becomes necessary rather than optional.
Yes.
When we see that one method is not enough for our study, or one method is not, gives a complete picture, which we not in our study. And for example, if the medical data cannot explain the reasons behind the results, or qualitative results, becomes limited, then on that stage, on that point, we need a mixed method. On that stage, mixed method becomes necessary or beneficial for the study, because we can't fulfill our requirements to only the qualitative or quantitative. On that stage, we need the mixed method, right? So combining mixed method is very important. When we see that one method is not enough, or not giving us a complete picture, so on that stage, as I already told, that it's become necessary rather than optional, and this also helps the researcher to understand the whole research problem, research problem, and identify that which type of method will be useful for this study.
Can you add any example for the audience to make certain things clear why this is necessary and why this is why can it be an optional aspect?
Yes, if I want to take if I want to talk about example, I would like to talk about my article, my thesis. In my thesis, I worked with the mixed method because error analysis was my topic. I saw that only one method is not enough for me because I want to get the data like qualitative and quantitative. So on that matter, on that stage, I realized that mixed method is not optional for me. So in my thesis, then I choose the mixed method for getting the results of like students' experiences, students' numbers, and their words, and observations, and yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Asha, in your experience, what are the situations in which you think that this is not optional one, this is necessary in English studies?
For example, through my teaching experience, if we start researching on some students who are struggling with the writing issues in the exam, there is some method we check their exam and test scores, but these are not enough. When we conduct interview as well, we check the learning issues, motivation issues, their writing errors. So meanwhile, these two methods are very important in the research. And like for example, like if we are analyzing a social media regarding the language patterns, requires both combines hashtags such as quantitative and explaining meanings regarding some memes for qualitative. So both methods in the research are become the make a research more clear, stronger. Yes.
Thank you. Next question is about the word use in particularly in any kind of when we are supposed to conduct a research, there are different perspectives, there are different philosophical assumptions. There are certain word use like when we are supposed to conduct any research, we must follow a particular word use. The first one can be post-positivism. The second one can be possibly embedded in different researches, that is constructivism, transformativism, and pragmatism. The question arises, while we are conducting research that is mixed method research, a short break for So, Ms. Aisha, I resume the discussion in the very question. What general philosophical stance sports mixed methods and how you can embed in English studies?
From my perspective, the philosophical stance is pragmatism is very important in the mixed method research. Pragmatism, like emphasis on emphasize using the best method for the research problem rather than sticking to one approach. For example, in English studies, in literature, you can analyze text, also survey the readers to understand their meanings that they adopt, their interpretations from the book that they start reading. So yes, pragmatism is a very important philosophical stance in the mixed market research.
What do you think? What is important with reference to pragmatism?
So basically, it is important because it gives the focus to solving research problems effectively, and then expect multiple realities such as numbers, meanings, observation regarding the research is very important.
Yes, Sati, can you add something related to pragmatism?
Yes, mixed method basically, is supported by a pragmatic philosophical stance. Because this approach, focuses on that what works best for, answering the question. And if I talk about the aim of this, the philosophical stance, like pragmatic, the main aim of this, problem solving, not only involving one method. So that's why pragmatism is very important in, mixed method. And that's why pragmatic is the philosophical stance of mixed method.
Very right. Most of the time, the studies are sometimes objective, sometimes are subjective in different researches. But here, the focus is on use, the real world problems in pragmatism. That is why it is very, very important to conduct researches in mixed methods perspective. So the next question is about integration. While we are conducting a research that is a combination of mixed method and quantitative method and qualitative method, integration is very important. So, Misaki, what do you think? How we can integrate one approach with another one? Sometimes we take quantitative first, and sometimes we take qualitative first. So, what do you think? How we can integrate these two research methods into one? That is mixed
Basically,
method
mixed
research.
method, qualitative and quantitative are, collected at the same time, or also in different stages. And in this whole process, the most important part is integration. If I talk about that, what is integration? In simple words, we can say that integration means bringing together findings from both approaches and through analysis and interpretation. So this is about the integration in my point of view in mixed methods.
So, how we can connect one approach to another approach in English studies?
How can we connect?
Yes.
First of all, we will, collect the data like qualitative. If we want to get the data like measurable pattern, then go for it. Then go for the qualitative. And if we want to, get the data like statistical, then go for the quantitative. And as I already talked about that the data will be collected at the same time or in different stages. So, according to me, this was the answer, about the integration of integrated.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Sasha, what do you think? How important this phenomena of integration in quantitative research while we are combining these two methods?
So yes, from my perspective, integration is the key for regarding this research approach. Like it is very important part to combine findings meaningfully. If I add some example here, in the corpus studies, frequency counts to show the patterns. But meanwhile, to checking the teacher's behavior, we are here to giving the answer why these patterns exist. So, yes, integration is the key.
Ms. Abhi, you mentioned about data collection. The very next question is also about data collection. We must, as a researcher, we must follow certain criteria for data collection. So, what do you think? How does a researcher decide order of data collection in which method research?
In mixed method research, the order of data collection is totally based on the aim of the research. For example, if the researcher wants to explain the measurable patterns or statistical analysis, then the researcher will definitely go for the quantitative data first. But on the other hand, if the researcher wants to explore an issue before creating it, then the researcher go for the qualitative data first. So so sometimes both types of data are collected at the same time. So this is the order of data collection according to me.
So, how we can collect data and have a decision on data collection that it should be simultaneously collected?
I don't understand that.
Okay, fine. Ms. Aisha, what do you think? Uh, how
Regarding
does a
this,
researcher decide the order of
yes.
data collection?
The one thing is very important regarding this order data collection that order depends on research question.
Fine.
So, if you want to explore, first collect qualitative data first. If you want to test patterns, then first you may collect quantitative data first. For example, interviews with teachers may inform what question to ask in a survey. Or the interview after interview we may conduct a survey. Then, meanwhile, in literature, reading themes first helps to design frequency analysis better. So yes, it's all dependent on the order of the research question. Here is the research question is very important to check the aim of the research. Yes.
There are different ways of organizing data, particularly common ways of organizing mixed method studies. We see these are convergent, sequential, and in some cases embedded designs. So, Ms. Safi, what do you think? How these ways are can be helpful in English studies?
There are different ways,
Yes.
to organize mixed method research. Some studies collect the data, both types of data at the same time. But the other studies collect the one type of data after the other. But in most of the cases, or in some cases, and the one method is embedded within another.
Yes.
So the design is totally depends on the research objective.
Fine. Can you relate it with English studies?
Yeah, I mean, in English studies, mixed method research is very important in English studies. As I already told that the English studies deal with language, literature, and communication. And today in today's generation, with the use of digital tools, AI-based analysis, mixed method is becoming very effective and more advanced.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Asha, what do you think? How important these ways while we are conducting mixed methods research?
Yes, I should explain these ways in a very good way. These ways are very important to conduct mixed method research, especially in English studies. When we start the text analysis, the convergent design is very important. Then we conduct any interview. The sequential design is very important in the research. So yes, both convergent, sequential, where both these is either very important in the mixed method research, especially in your studies.
And the very next question relevant to this one, how do they support different research tools?
So,
How these ways support different research goals, our research aims, our research objectives.
okay, I'll explain already. We check text analysis. When we start a text analysis, we use convergent design, reader interpretations regarding the integral understanding of any book. When we conduct any interview, when we go through with any survey, we use a sequential method. So adds depth to research. These designs are very important. So, yes.
Audience is unable to understand these three. Now we'll try to explore one by one. So, Ms. Avia, what do you think? How does a convergent design function in practice, particularly in English studies?
Okay. Basically, in a convergent design, both types of data. I mean, qualitative and quantitative data, collected at the same time. Then both types of data are analyzed separately, and the data is results are after the analysis, results are compared and merged in convergent design. This is about the convergent design, this whole process helps the researcher to identify the differences and similarities in the results.
Okay, please your perspective, your viewpoint regarding conversion, and what do you think? How important it is, and should we take this one or not?
It is important because it helps to identify similarities, differences, and any complementary part inside. So I would like to add a meaning or definition regarding the convergent design. It collects both types at the same time, but analysis separately. Like for example, survey responses and classroom observation can be collected together, then compared to see the patterns of any class.
So, Ms. Satya, what do you think? What is the purpose of sequential design in mixed methods?
In mixed method research, sequential method basically allows the researcher, to guide the data collection of to guide the data collection to the next phase. For example, qualitative findings may help to design a questionnaire. And these designs and this will help to clarify the results and also understands about the topic. This is about the sequential method in mixed method research.
So, what do you think collectively? What can be the possible benefits of the first one, that is convergent design, and the second one is sequential? What are the benefits of convergent way of mixed method and the sequential?
In convergent, we collect the data at the same time, or then we analyze the results separately, and then we merge the data or combine. But in sequential, sequential design only allow one phase of data collection to guide the next phase.
So, Ms. Satya, what do you think? What are the benefits of
There
these
is
two?
very important benefits of the convergent design as well as sequential. For example, a convergent design helps to check the similarities, differences, and meanwhile, the sequential design helps to understand the validation and explanation of a text. So both are very important in the research to check explanation, validations, to check the similarities or differences as well. So yes.
So, Ms. Satya, if you conduct any research, what will be your preference? Sequential way or the second one?
I think convergent because convergent research design is I think similar to mixed method because in mixed method we collect the both types of data, right? I think at the same time, or also in convergent design we collect the data at the same time. So I think for me, I will go for the convergent design.
What is Aisha?
For me, it is a sequential design because it adds depth to the research, and for me, as a researcher, depth is very important. So, yes, I choose a sequential design.
And even I will go for in that. So the next question is again about data, but now it is not about how to collect data. Now we will try to explore certain types of data which are commonly used in mixed methods research and studies. So Miss Afia, what do you think? What are commonly used types of data in mixed method research?
The commonly approach for research which is used in mixed method approach is qualitative. And qualitative, as we all know, that qualitative research focuses on, qualitative research in English studies includes interviews or on classroom observations, textual analysis, and reflective journals. And these data help to, understand the meanings or opinions and experience which is related to language and literature.
The very next question, relevant to this one, how can we choose the very appropriate, the data type? How can we choose the very appropriate data type for our study?
I think when we see that which type of study is, then we can we decide that which type of data will be appropriate for our research study. I think through the research questions,
What should be the criteria for appropriateness of using data type? Can we determine any criteria? Can we determine any specific things for choosing
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I talk about like a simple topic, error analysis, and we want to check the errors of the students, right? So through the topic, we can easily judge that the quantitative method is suitable for the study because through quantitative we can get the data like numbers, statistics, measurements. So I think yeah.
I think we should focus on the golden thread that is all about the topic.
Topic,
If
exactly.
we have a very good understanding about the topic,
Exactly.
about the research objectives and questions, then we can determine an appropriate data type for our study. So, what do you think, Ms. Aisha?
If I pick your question, here is a very easy answer regarding the choices depend on research goal. Basically, the goal behind any research for the future research starting any researcher, it's all about goal. What results the researcher wants to deliver to the audience, to the readers. For example, in my thesis, I picked a very major issue in the Asian schools, especially in the Pakistan. There is a root system. Teachers favor students are those who are like narrate the definitions of any topic from the book. This. If any student explains something regarding the concept, teacher are better than books. So, from my perspective, against this system, there is a major issue regarding any student failure is the root learning. Why we are not choosing conceptual study? So, yes, here is a goals regarding any
questions.
So
Okay,
yes,
thank you. When we have decided about data, what to be the data, how to collect the data, and the next step is analysis. Ms. Adya, how are qualitative and quantitative data analyzed and combined in mixed method research?
Okay. In mixed method research, both types of data, qualitative or quantitative data, collected, with the use of appropriate methods. Like for example, if like for example, qualitative data analyzed by using the quantitative data, sorry, analyzed by using the statistical techniques. And on the other hand, qualitative data can be analyzed by the use of thematic analysis. And after the separate analysis, both sets of results are integrated. And this integration basically helps to understand the complete understanding of the research finding. This will help
Thank you. Ms. Asha, what do you think? How we can analyze and combine data and mixed methods research?
from my perspective, qualitative data is analyzed using thematic coding, and quantitative data is analyzed statistically. So, for example, themes, we check the themes of any essay. Themes from essay can be compared with frequency of language features. So, observation nodes can be matched with the test result, obviously. So yes, from my perspective, results are integrated using joint discipline or comparison. Yes.
So next thing is about quality. Maintaining quality in research, this is very, very important. Each and every research that is conducted are supposed to be conducted in English studies. We should focus on quality, maintain how. So the next question is all about maintaining quality. Ms. Abia, what do you think? How we can maintain quality in mixed methods research, particularly? And you should, I think, link it with English studies also.
in mixed method research, basically quality is maintained by apply the rigor, in both qualitative and quantitative methodologies. And our researcher also clearly explained that how both types of data are integrated. And this whole process gives a complete, the credibility and reliability of the study.
So what do you think? What is quality according to you?
Quality, I think.
When we say this is quality work, this is written, the article is written, and we have maintained the quality of this research. So what do you think? What is that quality according to you? It can be a single word for it, either.
I think I like that if I talk about credibility, validity, quality, like all the things are valid, all the things are authentic, and all the things are are written after the analysis or data collection. So I think quality is
So, Researcher, we start with the quality. What is quality according to you, and how can we maintain quality in mixed methods
According to
research?
me, as a researcher, the quality data I can show is trustworthiness.
Trustworthiness.
And the validity is as well. But for me, is trustworthiness is very important yes, in the research.
Okay, if the study is trustworthy, are the things are can be validated, then this is quality for you, according to you. So how can we maintain this trustworthiness that is quality according to you?
According to me, each method that we use that is clear or not. If I, for example, from my research, recently I published my article regarding the business communication. I choose the president of Sialkot Chamber of Congress, who is Sadiq Ramul. Why I choose him? There is 47 other presidents regarding this area. Why I choose him? If there is some favoritism and any other thing, but in the research I explain why I choose him. The qualities I pick from his action that is lacked in other presidents. So in my research, I explain with my analysis why I choose Sir Ikram Haq in my research and why I show him as a role model to other presidents. So yes, trustworthiness is very important and validity there is very important to clear the point of view regarding your research goal, regarding the research. Yes, so this is very important.
Sir, what do you think about the quality? Yes.
If I want to say regarding this particular aspect quality with reference to trustworthiness, or credibility, I think it is a combination of both.
Yes.
When we have reliability, when we check the reliability of the tool and the instrument and validity of that particular instrument, plus particularly in mixed methods, trustworthiness is also important. Reliability, validity, credibility, and trustworthiness. All these four phenomena make it
The research
maintain the quality, particularly in mixed methods. If you are conducting quantitative one, then reliability and validity is important. If you are conducting a qualitative research, then the credibility and the trustworthiness is important. But while you are conducting a mixed methods research, then these all four are important. Fine, thank you. And then this is also even relevant to maintain the quality of the mixed method research, that is ethical consideration. These are very, very important while we are conducting research. If we do not follow certain ethical considerations in any type of research, we even cannot maintain quality. So, Misaki, what do you think? What are the important ethical considerations, particularly in mixed methods research?
As you already told that ethical considerations are very important in mixed method. And ethical considerations include like informed consent. The subject should know about the informed consent, confidentiality, and and handling the data responsibly. The subject should handle the data responsibly. They should be confidential. They should protect the privacy of the participants. And these are the ethical considerations which will be very important in mixed method research or any type of subject.
Okay, Ms. Asha, I will extend these critical, these ethical considerations. I must say it can be divided like pre-research, between the research, and after the research. What do you think? What should be considered as what are the important ethical considerations before conducting research, and what are important while you are conducting the research, and what are the ethical considerations which are very, very important that must be considered after conducting the research.
Yes, I would like to one thing that the ethics are critical in the research especially because both personal and malleable data are collected
and the informed content and responsibility of any person data loading are essential. So, for example, protect identity of any student or any participants that participate in the research. So, yes, protect student identities in survey are introduced are important. And meanwhile, in the mixed method research, it increased ethical responsibilities because we do multiple data we use, both qualitative or quantitative. So, in the mixed method, ethical consideration is very important.
But the question still now. I would request you again. Can you tell me, even tell us, how can we categorize that there are certain ethical considerations which should be focused on in pre-research time? For example, if you want to conduct a research, we should follow certain ethical consideration before conducting a research.
The ethical consideration things are like to protect data. First, sir, I think in my point of view, if we want to collect the data, like students or anyone, like their life experiences or their personal, we should if we talk about the pre, then we should protect the privacy first, like pre. Or if we talk about the during the data should be confidential. We should take care. We should take care the confidentiality of their experiences of their privacies and I think in my point of view this was the
Very right. I think before conducting a research, we should take consent of the participants.
yes.
For example, if you are conducting a research and the research is on minors, you should take consent of the parents even. If you are conducting a research on minors and you collect data from the minors in the school or even outside the classroom from the students who are sitting in the cafeteria, you need to take consent from the higher authorities, school principal, teachers, but you need to take consent from the parents also. And while you are conducting a research, particularly qualitative research, then you need to focus on the participants' emotions also. You shouldn't hurt someone.
Yes.
Fine. And after conducting a research, confidentiality of data, you have collected that data. That data shouldn't be distributed like changes to other ones or even conduct another research. So there are many other things that can be the part of this particular thing. Now, this thing that is about challenges in research is very important. Ms. Safi, what do you think? What are the challenges we face in English studies and particularly with reference to mixed methods research? As a researcher, what do you think? What are the major challenges we face?
In my point of view, during conducting a mixed method, one major challenge is time consuming. Right?
Very right.
Mixed method is a very time consuming and it's also methodologically complex. Because in this method we collect the both types of data. So that's why it's very time consuming and very complex. Managing and the integration of data may be difficult, especially for the new researchers.
So, Ms. Ajay, what do you think? What are the challenges we face most of the time in mixed method research?
Most of the time in the mixed method research, from my perspective, especially in the English studies, managing different types of data and resolving contradiction are main challenge from my perspective.
If you have a lot of time and you have a feasibility to conduct a mixed method research, would you prefer it or not?
Yes, I prefer it because it gives very clear results regarding the research and why we choose any one approach. The mixed method research is very good to give us strong results regarding any research. So if I have a lot of time doing research, so I prefer mixed method research, especially in my area that is industry. I prefer research.
So it's a kind of theory. It's also complex, but this method is very useful. For giving a complete picture of the studies. One method is not enough. So it is if so if it is time consuming, complex. On the other hand, it is very effective.
Because in English study, we don't have to check the patterns and meanings. The depth is very important. To check the depth and from the depth that we get from any research, and so mixed method is very crucial for
Complete
it.
understanding.
It gives a complete understanding. It gives a clear picture regarding to any research.
So, Misaki, I think nowadays mixed methods research is popularity. And popularity in different fields like corpus assisted studies, and computational methods, commerce studies, and even critical discourse analysis like studies. How is mixed methods currently being used in English studies according to you? What do you think? What are the core areas in which this research can be conducted?
In my point of view, mixed methods are widely used in language teaching research and also curriculum evaluation. But they're also used in a discourse analysis and corpus-based studies. Researchers combine classroom data with a learner perspective, they are mixed methods are used in all types of corpus-based studies, in discourse analysis, in language teaching research. These are the in my
Please,
From
research.
my perspective, as Ms. Abhi explained, it is very important to use in ELT, curriculum evaluation, and discourse analysis, and corpus linguistics as well. So it connects data with teaching and learning practice, especially. So, for example, teacher observation plus student test score improve teaching methods, as well as if we check the example of corpus analysis. In corpus frequency analysis plus student interpretation studies comprehends the tense. So yes, mixed method research in English studies make the research actionable and clear.
Okay, thank you. The next question is also relevant to this one. What do you think? What is the future of mixed methods research, particularly in English language studies?
I think in English studies, the future of mixed method is very strong and promising because with the use of digital tools, AI tools or AI-based tools or large data sets, this approach will become more effective and more advanced with these approaches.
What is your perspective regarding this? Are you seeing a very bright future
Yes.
with reference to mixed method research?
From my perspective, this mixed method research grows, especially in our area that is English studies. Technology will make our integration faster and more accurate. So,
So, how can we embed technology in English studies?
like it helps to analyze complex data effectively. Then it opens a new research problems, a data in a very useful way, in an easy to hand. Resources like ChatGPT is very good resource to conduct any research. So yes, AI tools are really important, and I see our mixed method research in a very area.
Misaki, what do you think? What are the very important tools that can be um, used for mixed method research, are used in mixed method research, particularly with reference to English studies?
So large data sets, I mean, AI tools or AI-based analysis tools. Like in research, we use different types of tools like SPSS or AdConc or different types of tools. So these tools will help to understand the research about more effectively. And due to these tools, the future of mixed method is very strong and promising.
Yes.
In my perspective, what do you think about it?
I think there are a lot of tools that can be embedded in such kind of resources like EdCom. If you want to conduct mixed methods research, like I am working on a project which is a mixture of CDA and corpus assisted data. So for corpus assisted perspective, I can use NCOM, I can use WordNet, I can use Voyant tool, and there are many other like sketch engine. The tool is also very important in this regard. And even if we are conducting a computational, this is also a future of English studies, that is computational linguistics. We can link many computer-based tools like WordNet, like English Wine tool, Sketch Engine, and there is another tool if you want to conduct a research that is based on multimodality. You can use a tool that is called Elan. So there is a long, long list. So I personally think that the future of English study is very bright, but we need to focus on certain areas in English studies with reference to AI, emergence of AI tools, and we need to embed AI tools into these kinds of research. So this is not least, but the last question. In one sentence, how would you justify your perspective regarding mixed methods research?
Mixed method basically allows us, to study about language and literature as both minor language patterns and personally human experiences or meanings. And if you talked about, if I already explained, like about the mixed method gives us a complete picture, a complete understanding about the topic, about the research area, about our study.
Miss Aisha, one sentence.
It's very difficult to explain this matter in one sentence, but from my perspective, this approach fully captured the complexity in English studies, especially in English studies, that is our media. So yes, this method is fully captured, fully gives the strong result regarding the English studies, and it makes our research actionable, basically. Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Satya, the first panelist, and the second panelist, Ms. Aisha, and worthy Dr. Thomas Hussain, this provider. We are feeling honored. You are here with us, and you have a very kind of enthusiasm and courage to listen us in this discussion. In the audience, thank you for participation. And now the stage is open for questions. If you have any questions, please put a pause.
All right, first phase is over. The scholars were here. They had a wonderful discussion, very comprehensive, very exhausting, and exhausted also. The area of discussion, the topic of discussion that is very crucial, mixed method research. And many researchers, the ones who start the research, they get into the research phase, they are very confused about so many things. So today's session that was meant to kill those confusing points, and many of them were killed, but still I feel that there is some deficiency left. And to cover that up, now we have one-on-one discussion, question answer session. I'm also part of this question answer session, and we have invited the first scholar, Ms. Naza Ulli. Ms. Naza Khalil, wonderful scholar. She is starting very soon her research journey and into the research, and she must be having a lot of questions to ask, and we invite question from Ms. Naza.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I'd like to say and appreciate the effort behind all this discussion. It was a great session. We got to learn and revise some things. So there were little confusions, as sir has mentioned, that I'd like to clear now. So the very first or general question is, if only through mixed method we get reliable results, and then why some researchers opt for qualitative only or quantitative only approach? Does opting for a single approach cannot provide the full picture?
You see, one thing, well, the choice of mixed methods in research that heavily depends on the canvas, the scale of the study. There are some studies, there are some lifelong studies. For example, Woodward conducted a study spanning over 20 years, longitudinal kind of studies. They want to cover each and every aspect of the issue, and that is why they spend a lot of time. But these studies, for example, thesis or dissertation, the canvas is bigger than the small scale study, that is article, paper, and lesser than longitudinal kind of studies. Here, time constraint is also there, but at the same time, the nature of issue or problem and the nature of objectives, which you said, that push you towards going into mixed method design. Most of the time, you may start a project, a study, a research with qualitative, but you feel that there are certain things missing, facts and figures they are missing, and that tabular kind of data presentation that is missing, and you need to make the data compact and visualize, help readers see the data, and the sense of structure must be visible to and then triangulation is also very important. And then they become kind of observation or recommendation that well, you started qualitative, you wanted to measure the depth. Why not to generalize it to the other contexts? Bring in triangulation of the study. Now you see, there are so many stakeholders in this journey. Your class fellows, your teachers, your supervisor, panelists, title defense, synopsis defense, buzzer defense, final defense. Now your job has to be to satisfy each and every expert in the field and address their observations. And by the time you are asked to put it in the heart of binding, printed forms. By that time you see that well you were pushed into mixed method design. And normally in most cases that happens. But there are some people who stick to one thing. Well, my background is heavily science, natural science. I am a seasoned person. My BS was double math stat, and I'm expert in that, and I'm scientific. by nature, by attitude. I will stick to quantitative. People they give you the license for that. Okay, fine, go on, be quantitative. Go on with quantitative plan. There are some people who say, well, my paradigm basically is qualitative. I want to understand the meaning and I want to capture the context. I deal with the human beings, the people, their perception, their experiences. My concern is people, not facts and figures. I really live with the people, ethnographic research, all qualitative research design. So I will stick to qualitative only. And my ultimate goal, the purpose statement, the objective of the goal of the study is to understand the depth in human lives related to the nature of my research. So they will stick to qualitative, no problem.
So there must be some compromises made.
No, the point is there are so many factors. The only thing in social sciences is what you can justify. Your justification must be very convincing. And that must not be, the whimsical I want to do that. You need to objectify your I-ness. Your subjectivity must be hidden behind objectivity. You must take some references, research norm, research traditions, refer to them, take the cover, and go on.
Right.
Thank you, sir, for the support.
So they talked about the philosophical worldviews. Now I'd like them to make some differentiation and why do we need them in research?
You see, philosophical worldviews, then theoretical stances, and then conceptual framework, then analytical framework. I also felt that panelists need to, elaborate them distinctly and, getting down the ladder. The ladder number one, topmost, is philosophical worldviews. How many are they? I want the panelists to discuss them. How many philosophical worldviews are there?
Four.
Yes.
They only talk about
Post-positivism, constructivist, transformative, pragmatic. And transformative is heavily linked with qualitative. Post-positivist is heavily linked with quantitative. Constructivist and pragmatic, they are linked with mixed. Right? So, Ms. Raza, this much is clear? Philosophical worldview. Then the second layer is theoretical underpinnings or theoretical stances. Again, they are four, right? What are they? Epistemology, ontology, axiology, and methodology. Right? So these are four again. Right? And then you get into conceptual kind of framework where you make one of them or two of them operational and come up with conceptual framework of the study. And then you have the analytical or interpretive kind of stances or ways or what we call analytical framework of the study. So step by step you get down to that point where you collect data and you bring in analytical framework and then in a very structured way you approach your data to the analysis. One thing I have found, there was confusion regarding the analytical tools and analytical framework in the discussion. This ANCOM and all the softwares, Elan and Vivo, and these are analytical tools.
Yes.
Not analytical frameworks.
Yes.
Analytical frameworks, they emerge from conceptual framework or from some renowned established model that is brought in and that gives you kind of lenses to focus on your data. Preset criteria is there. or for example, six things you want to focus on. Six constructs of conceptual framework, analytical framework that is focused on which you want to study, and you approach the data. Now, if your data is, for example, a novel or a drama, it means you would do multiple readings in order to focus where the data set to achieve your analytical framework constructs to bring them into focus. Analytical framework is different from analytical tools. What is the benefit of using analytical tools? Your data sets or data analysis becomes very compact. It becomes in your focus, and it is very easy to present them and interpret them and justify them. And picture becomes very clear. But in those tools, if you have a strong analytical framework, you are very clear-headed what command to give to those tools, what to achieve out of them, all that. What type of data categories are there to be put into that, and then as a result, what to generate, figures or tables or charts or whatever, according to your analytical framework. So it is very important to determine the analytical framework, conceptual framework, theoretical framework, and philosophical worldview. You have to be very clear-headed during your research process, right?
Very good. Then I'd like to ask about the integration criteria. And there are different, what were those, convergent and sequential experimentally implemented. So in mixed method, we mix both approaches, qualitative and quantitative. But what is the criteria? Why
They were also, when you can't clarify the things, you confuse the audience further. So they tried hard to confuse you, further. Broad category is sequential, yes, and concurrent. And they have used a different term, embedded, right? Yes. Even when you say sequential, there are two types of sequential.
Yeah.
One starts with qualitative and then ends in quantitative.
But
Yes, explanatory and exploratory. Now, what is your focus? You want to explain first or explore first? If you want to explore first, then the pattern, the design is to exploratory. Yes, and if it is you want to explain first, your design is. So in this design, which is called sequential, there are two patterns. Yes. What comes first, and why? How you decide? Why you say that this comes first? Again, what's in the objective that pushes you towards becoming quantitative first? Yes. And then you try to set research question, which is how and why. Then it means now you are moving towards qualitative. So you start with quantitative because your objective pushes you towards becoming quantitative first and then qualitative. There are some cases where the research question invites you to be qualitative first and then go on to the quantitative pattern. Right? So here there are two types. Now the other type is concurrent. At the same time, you apply both data collection procedures, quantitative and qualitative. You bring the data together, you analyze them together, you present the discussion of them together.
How together?
You have to merge them. This type of data, which is concurrent, you are exploring all the research questions with the two lenses all together. And here your art as a research writer that comes into play. You are not to create the threads in that particular design. Why? Because you are under the same umbrella. Objective number one. Objective number two, objective number three, there are three layers, and two eyes are working side by side, collecting, picking data, and analyzing it, discussing it, and findings, and all that. So it's the same kind of sequence. But when it comes sequential, here one phase gives way to the other phase. There are certain deficiencies in one first phase. There are certain things which need to be strengthened and validated through the second phase. So that means the items in the second phase they emerge from the completion of the first phase. So that becomes a mother. First phase becomes the mother, and second phase research instruments and items they become the daughters. Cause and effect. They cause this, the second phase instruments and items they are generated. And as a result, you discuss again, now your analysis will be first complete analysis of first phase, and then highlighting the points which generate items in the second phase, and then you build a connection between first phase and you say it was sequential design. Mixed methods, sequential design. Right?
So, the last question, how do we maintain the reliability, validity, and credibility research?
Reliability and validity. Now again, the panelists they were trying to confuse you. Reliability and validity, that is quantitative. And credibility and trustworthiness, that is qualitative. In qualitative paradigm, you always build credibility and trustworthiness of research instruments and research process. And reliability and validity you determine by taking statistical measures. You asked, statistician, and for example, Cronbach alpha score, and reaching that. Now, credibility and trustworthiness you establish. One, maybe you send the instrument to the professor, you get the feedback, and then you modify the evidence, and you declare that they are now credible and trustworthy and ready to administer. Same thing you do there. You can do a pilot testing in quantitative paradigm. Pilot testing, small scale kind of sample, picking that up, pilot test it, and then modify the items in the light of pilot testing, and then run the Cronbach alpha statistical measure, get the score, and then you are all set to administer that. Administering the instruments are the research tools without establishing reliability, validity, credibility, and trustworthiness, that is dangerous. Because later you can't revert, then things will be out of your control. Later, when after the analysis and after submission, somebody points it out, there are these major revisions required. And at that time, you may feel like committing suicide. So this point is very crucial. Once your research instruments are ready, take every possible step to establish reliability and validity of quantitative part and credibility and trustworthiness of your qualitative part. Right?
Yes, right. Thank you.
Okay, now we invite another scholar, Riyadh Al-Hasan.
Thank you so much, sir, for.
Is it on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, thank you so much for giving us privilege and opportunity to be a part of this wonderful discussion. Both panelists performed very well and added some more knowledge into your existing knowledge. So basically, Miss Afia Niaz, yes. As I said that you did your actual thesis on analysis and you were the student of Dr. Mariam. So I am also the student of the Malay group and I completed my graduation from English and we also did my BS thesis on analysis.
So you're from UK also?
Yes. Nice to see you here. And I am also the student of the Malay group and Malay group. She taught me class two subjects for quality and research. Yes. So congratulations for that. Basically, my question was that when you did your research and you chose mixed method, right? Quantitative and qualitative. So, what analytical tools you actually use for the data analysis? Like you collect the responses from the students on a survey questionnaire, then you interview
My first tool was I collected the narrative writings from the students.
narrative writings like
From the short stories, from the short
okay,
stories.
okay,
And the second was a questionnaire.
okay.
To know about the reasons behind those errors, and to know about the reliability, I use the SPSS tool.
SPSS.
Yes.
Okay, now there are two things. One, narrative inquiry,
Yes, sir.
that was qualitative one, and second was survey study,
Yes, sir.
questionnaire. Was that questionnaire on Likert scale?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 5 points.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, was that questionnaire self-created, adopted, or adapted?
Sir, I think self.
Self-created. So, self-created means that you establish the reliability and validity. How many items were there?
Arguments.
Items.
Items. Sir, 15.
15.
Yes, sir.
How those items were linked in a systematic and symmetrical way with objectives of the study? Well, audience, this is where I want to convey or sensitize you regarding instrument, drafting. Now, if, for example, you want qualitative study and you have decided interview, survey structure, and your objectives there are 3, and you want to achieve all 3 objectives through interview as an instrument. So what you do? There are fixed items in survey structure, 5 items for each objective. 5 for second objective, 5 for third objective. See, you have become very systematic, very structured. Now you go to your survey study, a quantitative part, and you say 15 items. Now 15 items, again you have to do, in most cases you adapt the question. Somebody has already done the study. There are certain famous scales also available. You take them in, acknowledge them, and then adapt them, modify them according to your research objectives. Maybe cut short the items or modify the diction of the item according to your objectives of the study, and then present it to your supervisor. Well, now I have another instrument, that is quantitative instrument, and that is questioning. I have adapted it. There are some people who adopt it. They find a wonderful, tool which is perfect for your study also. No need to make modifications. That is adopted. Adopted, taken as it is. Adapted, taken and modified. And self-created, as in case of Ms. Abhyas, she self-created it. When you self-create, you have to do a lot of things. Pilot testing, reliability and validity, discussion microscopically with your supervisor. And then item description in the methodology part. You have to take many steps to establish yourself in front of your audience that I dare to self-create an instrument, but I put heavy effort together to establish the reliability and validity. And I made sure that before administering, there was no objection from any quarter. That is self-created, right? So I
Thank you so much, sir. My last and the second question to respected Miss Aisha Tahir. So when Sir Alif Furqan asked you the question that could you please explain the quality of the research in a single word, then you said it's all about trustworthiness. And then you gave an example of your research work that you like work on like you check like my question is that how you check the trustworthiness of a single balance or a ground hub among small 47 and then how you determine that he is the best and then you said that I have presented it to other 46 presidents. So what is the criteria for determining the trustworthiness of a respondent or a participant? Because again, as I am working with starting my research journey with Dr. Sadhu, and I'm working on like again the narrative inquiry, critical discourse analysis of the English teachers. So your response will help me in making my stance and my justification of providing the trustworthiness of my respondent. Well, I will be asked the question that why you are choosing specifically Sir Ali Furqan or Sabur and not the other. So what like would be my authentic response that I check the trustworthiness of this respondent and so I choose this.
So I choose a model for this research that is a positive response analysis. I apply these things on him like when I choose his messages, official messages that he conveyed to business community, and the words that he used, these words are motivates the business members and communities, and I also check the other members messages. They are using very harsh and crucial words.
no what here this subjectivity comes in. Yes.
And maybe there like will be hatred in his words.
Personal liking or whatever, no, Priya,
Yes, sir.
you need to, set inclusion criteria
Okay, sir.
and exclusion criteria.
Yes.
And when you set that criteria, you are saved from the disblame or being biased or being subjective. Now, for example, you choose year from this year to this year. Why these years? You give your justification. Criteria for point number one, selection of specific year. In that specific year, that particular person he gave a lot of messages. So that was one, others were excluded because of that, and this one because my study focused on the year 2025, and out of 70 presidents, 5 they were elected. So others were minus or
Yes.
then, out of 5, the ones who sent 50 tweets, they were in focus and others were minus. And then, out of those, 3 were left, and out of 3, I did the qualitative analysis of the tweets. The ones hitting my objective of the study, that was one. And I picked that particular one. Now you are seeing. Now, if somebody asks you why that participant, why not the others, and you start thinking about the push, you lose your impression of it. Now you have to be very scientific. Set criteria of inclusion and exclusion of your participants. And there are sampling methods in both qualitative and quantitative. Pick one of them, apply that.
Yes.
And then when you apply that, you are safe. And that sampling technique demands me to be that this way. Right, sir?
Thank you so much. That's of luck.
Okay. The vessel is ready for you?
Yes, sir.
You can wait for some few more minutes.
Yes, sure.
Reza, you also want to go? So this, because they will get me one by one after. Okay, next comes us now.
but I want to ask about how can we determine the sample size for our population in mixed method research?
It depends again on the research. If you are conducting qualitative research, if it is a case study, even you can collect data from a single person. And if you want to conduct a research that is survey based, then you need to collect data. You need to collect data through questionnaires, big size participants. For example, if you are supposed to conduct a study on Arab analysis, you need to collect questionnaire at least from 250 participants. Researchers say that at least 200 to 50 participants must be there in conducted questionnaire-based or survey-based studies. And if you are conducting a mixed method research, then you need to collect data from the participants through survey or questionnaire, and then you need to collect data from the participants in form of interviews. Obviously, you cannot conduct interviews of 200 people or 250 people. So you need to restrict your audience or participants to even single person, single individual, more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20.
Okay, let me try to give an expert answer on this. Uh, Participants, sampling procedure, sampling technique for both paradigms, for both approaches. Qualitative participant, you include, for example, for interview, and your criteria is saturation point, right? Now you need to conduct the interview, bring it back, transcribe it, and then go again, collect it. The moment you feel that there is redundancy or repetition of ideas, stop it. You have achieved your target. Data, collection is complete through qualitative tool because saturation point you have achieved. Now that saturation point may come after 5 interviews, or 10, or 15, or 20, or 50, depends on your scale of the study. If new themes, new ideas keep coming, you have to keep conducting interviews or this qualitative data collection process. You have to continue. Sometimes you reach saturation point in the third interview. So that means your items were very powerful and you sensitize your participant very well, or you selected your participants very carefully, and you were super prepared to conduct the interview and you kept it very well done. And as a result, fourth interview you conducted and there was repetition, you stopped the interview, your data collection is complete. Now quantitative. If your population is unlimited, you have to collect 400 participants responses.
Maximum.
Right? Maximum 400. There is a formula given by I forgot the name. And she or something. There is a formula. Now he has divided, well, if population is 200, then you have to collect questionnaire survey of these men. If population is 300, countable, means you can count. Now as a researcher, you have to count your population. There are certain cases where you can count your population, that this is exactly my population. 1,000, not more than that, not less than that. Then you apply formula on that and you collect responses from there. And if you can't count, for example, English language learners, can you count? No, you can't. So you have to collect data from 400 participants. And for that, you have to send the questionnaire to 600 people in order to make sure that you receive the responses of at least 400. And even in that case, out of 400, you find 350 fits for the analysis. Then document that. The response rate was this much. I did collect 400 participants. But because 50 they were not invalid for the analysis. So then I took into account 350 and took the number along and there won't be any objection in that. Right? I hope I'm clear.
Next, I want to ask about the research design. Either it is exploratory sequential or explanatory sequential. We go with collecting the one kind of data first and then go for the second type. So, what should we do if the results of both the types of data are contradicting with each other? Like we find some gaps in quantitative, then we go for collecting the qualitative kind of data. And it's in our mind that these gaps will be filled. But if the results of the second type of data collection are not same from the first one, then what should we do?
In the first case, there won't be any contradiction because it's a mixed method. So if you bring quantitative and in quantitative against in quantitative you bring quantitative, then there is the risk that there will be some contradiction. Maybe because of the processes there were certain flaws and the facts and figures they have emerged different. Now your intention is to get into the depth now. So it's not that you will be talking about findings. The picture you got through quantitative, now that is to be enriched with the qualitative. So it's not there is no chance of contradiction. It is enrichment process. It's not confirmation or kind of contradiction with development process, right? And then when you do the analysis later, then both of them when they are presented one after the other, then they make the picture complete. Breadth, width, exploration, both targets achieved. And as a result, now you can stand on the stage and claim that you have done a comprehensive study on the issue which you started with a statement of the problem and now you have found the solution of it.
I certainly have also a question related to this one. But when we have analyzed the data and we get results or finding, results and the findings can be contradictory in some cases. For example, if we have collected data from surveys and questionnaires from the public, from the students, and on the other hand, we have collected data from the teachers. The findings and the results can be contradictory, I think.
Okay, so one thing is that when you collect data from different participants, and your design is not sequential, it is concurrent. And then your items they hit the same themes.
Yes.
Quantitative items hit the same themes. Qualitative items hit the same themes. Now here the contradiction may be because of difference in population. One teachers, the other students. Contradiction, that is a finding. No need to be apologetic on that. That contradiction is your contribution. Right? And in the same way, conforming it or contradiction or confirmation, none of your business. In both cases, you are acting as a researcher, and it is the process which has led to towards contradiction or confirmation of one place with the other. In most cases, even if the participants are the same and you collect data in two different ways, you may come up with contradiction. It means there is something wrong with your instruments. you need to revisit them. And or maybe the data collection process was not conducted properly, you didn't sensitize your participants, or your sampling strategy was not good, means there is something which needs to be revisited. And then if you take steps and you need to document all things, all the way, in order to prove that you were the researcher, excellent. And you documented each and everything, there were contradictions, and you addressed them and rectified them, and then again you collected data, and then things started sailing smoothly. Right?
Thank you so much for such a great discussion, and I'm very honored to be here with you all. So my question is that what is that basically there may more translation and what strategies we should use for the translation. What is translation and what strategies we should use in this kind of research for translation. So
Okay. Now, triangulation, the concept of triangulation is bringing in more eyes into the studies, more lenses into the studies. Then, when you say triangulation, your task as a researcher is something bigger. You are ready to deal with the complexity. And that means that, well, one thing you already declare that it is efficient. And that thing will become the base for the next thing. And we are discussing mixed methods research. Here you start with qualitative and maybe you start with conviction that that is my whole power. Is I will do it particularly well and I will stick to it till the end and all that. But at certain point you are pushed into bringing in two more eyes. Yes. And then triangulation is when things consolidate each other. Now this thing is consolidated by the next thing. If this thing is quantitative, next thing is qualitative. If this is qualitative, next is quantitative. Now how to put them together, or how to arrange intermarriage between them, or build connection between them. That is what, if you do successfully, you would achieve triangulation. Cementing them together, connecting them together, maintaining the thematic link between them. Sequential or embedded or concurrent or sequential, starting quantitative first and qualitative later, starting quantitative first, qualitative later, whatever. You need to establish the links, and the moment you are successful in determining the links and bonds between them, and how this bond and validate, strengthen each other, and how they play their part in making your project a success story because of mixing them together, that is where you say, I achieved triangulation. This particular strategy. Right?
So what are the strategies?
Strategies again, you ask first of all yourself, am I quantitative or am I qualitative? This is self-exploration. So you start with that, right? And later, when you are pushed, I'm telling you, you will be pushed towards clarification. First of all, your supervisor will ask you a question. Well, you claim to be qualitative, but point is your nature of study, the statement of the problem, or the statement that demands that you bring in quantitative element. And then gradually you start building the justifications. And then automatically when you reach to the end, you find that well, there were so many reasons because of which I was pushed on the track of practice. Right?
And secondly, I want to ask, in mixed method research, how would a researcher exactly integrate qualitative and quantitative data using analysis? Like how we integrate them?
Again, the choices all depend on goal. What is the goal behind the research? If I take the question regarding your side.
You can exemplify by using your research.
Like for example, I already mentioned the example. We check the student behavior regarding the writing errors. So the choice is all about what is the reason behind the writing errors. So we have to collect questionnaires from the students, and also then conduct the interview from teachers to check the teacher's method regarding the student. There is something missing from the student or is something missing from the teacher.
Alright.
So you want to add something?
Yes,
Okay. So you also have mentioned in sequential
because
design.
again,
Yes.
about sequential concern,
Yes. How do we decide that we should do qualitative analysis first, then quantitative?
It's all
How do we decide? Like we have to do qualitative first and then quantitative, or quantitative first or qualitative. Like, again, example that's already given.
there's a sequence and alignment are very crucial for research. If we have a lot of time, you have to conduct a quantitative research first. Then, after quantitative research, after conducting questionnaires, and then we have, if we have time, then we have to conduct qualitative research to observe behavior, to conduct interviews from the teachers and regarding your research, what is it? So,
it depends, Marisa, on your topic and
Exactly,
study,
yes.
basically. If, for example, if you want to conduct a research on higher analysis, for example, and first you will collect the data, and the objective is all about that. Yes,
Yes.
yes. For example, there are narrative writings and then there are the reasons. Fine. First, you should go for qualitative analysis and then you should go for quantitative. And in some cases, for example, first you conduct a survey, a questionnaire, and you collect data from the students, and then you conduct an interview from the teachers to find out the reasons.
Behind those errors.
Those errors are you want to have certain suggestions from the teachers. How can we overcome these errors? So then you need to go for interviews in second phase. First quantitative, then
So we can say that when we feel, one method is not enough for a requirement.
Of course, obviously we say that one method is not enough. Efficiency. We bring in, fixed methods design. But the point is, Pakiza, be very clear-headed that your sequencing of research questions would determine what will be the first.
yes.
Right? Normally, roughly we say that what is to be answered with quantitative. So if your argument number one is what? So you start with
So depend on research.
So only whatever research you want.
Yes.
Exactly.
The objective is
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Wakar.
First of all, if I have to order this beautiful audio and organization. Thank you. Now, moving to the question, how you will mix Today, our topic are about the systematic research in history. Now, my question is, who will convince the new researcher who don't have much knowledge about qualitative as well as quantitative research methodologies to adopt mixed method research?
Read books on research methodology very closely, very keenly, very critically, and as we have set the mission, we have a mission.
Be careful.
Chew and digest two books. So I have already given you, the books. Now you have to, whenever you have time, read the books, underline them, highlight them, note down the key concepts, assimilate them, and as a result, when we come to the discussion, and now today you listen to the discussion, next week we are having the week of qualitative research, right? So you are again invited to attend that. When you base it on your own reading, and then you come and listen and be part of this whole, this vertical panel, then automatically you learn a lot, right?
Sir, I have one more submission. There is a very good discussion in the sphere GDP. Yes. GDP. That's the GDP, and I have submission about GDP. GDP discussion board.
Well, here it is GTD, graded group discussion.
Yes. And it's my submission. It must be a GDP graded discussion board.
Graded discussion board that gives some different kind of answer.
Yes.
Right? So that doesn't serve the spirit what you want to.
It's all about research.
Thank you so much.
It's a rich terminology. This is
Especially in English studies.
it's a register, basically.
Yes.
Okay, no one knows what is DGD.
Okay, thank you.